As a parent of a young pitcher, are you aware that 1 in 20 young pitchers end up getting surgery in some way, shape, or form? And this can be prevented. All throwing athletes, regardless of the sport, baseball or softball, need to protect and learn how to throw accurately and in a healthy capacity to avoid being injured prior to getting into high school. In today's world of travel, athletics, travel sports, high school, showcases, and tournaments, overuse is running rampant. In fact, Tommy John surgeries under the age of 14 account for over 50% of all of the surgeries that are done by orthopedics all over the country each and every year. Need to understand that this can be prevented. The biggest misunderstood dynamic is that young pitchers do not have rubber arms. You can't pitch on a Thursday, try to pitch more on a Saturday, and then try to win the championship on Sunday. While they're young, the insides of their elbow, the UCL, the tendons, the ligaments, they are being disrupted. They are being stressed. And while you may not be able to see it at 9 through 12, as soon as they hit the big diamond, that's when troubles begin to occur. The good news is this can be prevented, and you can reduce the risk by just adhering to simple procedures for your student athlete, and never, ever, ever allow your student athlete to be asked, are you feeling okay? Especially under the age of 14, because every child is going to say, Coach, I can go, I can do it, I can do it. You have to have common sense as well as a game plan. Make sure that you as a parent adhere to these lessons that are being utilized at the high school level, the college level, even the professional level. As the parent of a major league pitcher, I can tell you, I was always the bad guy that had to keep the pitch counts, the inning counts each and every year, and we lived by those all the way through college. Make sure you as parents are protecting that arm. Your student athlete only has one, and even though you think Tommy John is something that can be done a couple of times and you can come back bigger and stronger, that's false. In fact, most arm injuries, once they occur, it's very, very difficult to get back to a fresh, strong, healthy arm. These 5 steps that I'm going to provide you will really help you as parents if you're going to enforce these, protect your student athlete's arm, elbow, and shoulders. Enforce pitch limits. Have a dialogue with the coaches, with the trainers, with the instructors. Make sure you know that each and every game you get to pitch once a week and have a certain pitch limit, meaning 75, 85 pitches under the age of 12, no more once a week. They need to have rest and they need to be able to recover. If your student athlete is between the ages of, say, 10 or 12, and they're in Little League or travel baseball at that 50-70 or 45-60, make sure you're setting a pitch limit per week. It is imperative to not go over that pitch limit once a week. If they pitch 40 on a day, you need to have at least 3 or 4 days of rest prior to getting to that next 35 or 40 pitches to get them to their weekly limit. Next, I really encourage you as parents to begin a strength program, whether it's with bands, whether it's with light dumbbells, but I cannot emphasize enough that building strength with regard to grip strength, with regard to shoulder health, with regard to lower half and core strength is going to help your student athlete understand how all of those muscle groups work together. It's not just about the arm. It's not just about the shoulder. It's about the body in its entirety. Make sure you're focusing on strength and stretching. Make sure those are an integral part of your student athlete's daily, weekly routines, and this will help with regard to limiting stress or strain on the arm. Make sure when you are a parent that you are stressing that your student athlete should really warm up properly. When I say warm up, you should try to do some sort of a jog, some sort of a stretching where you're getting a little bit of sweat built up on the forehead, and make sure they're trying to do what I call a dynamic stretch for at least 5 to 10 minutes before every game, making sure the legs, the ankles, the hips, the knees, everything below and up above, the neck, the shoulders, the hands, the elbows, Things that will provide your athlete the proper preparation in order for them to go out and compete in a game, to be able to throw those 70 to 80 pitches each and every game that they're trying to be a starting pitcher. Always remember, incorporating strength on a year-round basis, stretching on a daily basis, not just in season. You should have an in-season stretching and strength program as well as an off-season stretching and strength program for children of all ages after the age of 10. You can do body weight exercises, light dumbbells, things of that to make sure that your student athlete is able to build strength, build health, and be able to prepare to recover properly with regard to stretching. Always remember, once you throw those pitches, the next day your student athlete should be, if he threw 75 pitches, go for a walk for 75 minutes. Go for a bike ride for 75 minutes. Light jog. Anything that promotes blood flow will help flush your student athlete. Last, make sure you're monitoring mechanics. Now, mechanics are critical for the success of young pitchers. Two important aspects of monitoring mechanics. You never want to let the wrist get out in front of the elbow. We always want to make sure that the elbow is the first active movement pattern for your athlete to just get out in front of their delivery. If you notice that your athlete is casting the ball like this and you see an arm, that's going to lead to stress on the elbow. The further the wrist is from the elbow is what's going to cause stress to occur in young throwing athletes. So if you're noticing that the wrist is casting away from the elbow, that's going to begin to cause a stress point, and that's going to get irritation as they get stronger and older. Make sure that that elbow and that wrist are in line and throwing north and south as opposed to east and west. Making sure that your student athlete has proper mechanics, proper form will help reduce strain and stress on the elbow and on the arm by up to 30%. I've seen these types of mechanical adjustment strength programs save many, many arms and many careers from the high school, college, and even the professional level. Start to implement these with your student athlete today, regardless of how young they are. Develop good, healthy habits now to make sure you keep your pitcher healthy. For tips like this on everything to do with young pitching, I encourage you to subscribe. Both myself and my son Tyler will respond and reply to all the comments or questions that you ask. I encourage you to make sure you're subscribing and keeping yourself up to date for all future discussion points as it pertains to youth pitching.